Welcome back, everyone. This week we are going to review the holidays and holy days, festivals and fast days of the Jewish calendar. So we'll jump right in. Most people sort of take this for granted, but the primary holy day of the Jewish calendar is Shabbat. It's every week, so we sort of take it for granted. It is the first holiday or holy day given to the world. In the second chapter, first verse of the book of Exodus, after God creates the world, he rests on the seventh day. And that has been commemorated both by the Jewish people and by people all over the world. They have a day of rest. For us, it is Saturday, every Shabbat, from Friday evening until Saturday night. We observe a day of refraining from doing the normal day-to-day drudgery and commit ourselves to joining with God and celebrating a day of communion with God and with each other. So the second one people don't really acknowledge that much, but it's observed every month, Rosh Chodesh, the new month. It's a minor festival. As a matter of fact, it's a gift for women that women are supposed to refrain from housework on Rosh Chodesh. It's a woman's holiday, but we celebrate it. Sometimes it's a 1 day, sometimes a 2 day, depending on the calendars. I mentioned last week there are adjustments to the Jewish calendar to make sure that it coincides with the 354-day lunar year. Then we have Rosh Hashanah. We spent a great deal of time speaking about Rosh Hashanah a few months ago, but essentially Rosh Hashanah, the new year, it's the beginning of the calendar year. And that's important to note. It's the beginning of the calendar year. It's the beginning of the year in terms of bringing the tithing to the temple. It also is the new year for kings and the priests that were anointed on at the beginning of the year. So that's the calendar year. Yom Kippur, which is also a fast day, but it's some consider it the white fast because it's a fast of purity, a fast of holiness, and the Day of Atonement, when we have the opportunity to formally rid ourselves of the mistakes of the past year. Sukkot follows the Feast of Tabernacles. It's one of the 3 pilgrimage festivals mentioned in Scripture and Torah. And on this holiday, it's an 8-day festival where we live in booths or temporary dwellings outside. We eat, we sleep in these temporary houses, and that's the 8-day festival, which ends with Shmini Atzeret. Shmini Atzeret literally means the 8th day of assembly, and it is a separate holy day from Sukkot, even though it comes on the heels, and one would think that it is connected, and it is in some ways, but it's really a separate holy day. And on that holy day, in the ancient world, the water libation, where they would fill the water basin for the temple in Jerusalem, so that they would have water for use for the rest of the year. It's a special day to connect with the Creator. Following that, we have a month and a half off, pretty much, almost 2 months, where we then celebrate Hanukkah. Hanukkah commemorates both the miracle of the oil lasting for 8 days and the military victory over the Assyrian Greeks. Tu B'Shvat. This is a second new year in our calendar. It is the new year for the trees. We have an equivalent for that here in the United States. We call it Earth Day. But we commemorate and acknowledge and do what we can to help protect and bless God for the trees we have in our lives. As a matter of fact, the tradition is to plant a tree in Israel on Tu B'Shvat or around Tu B'Shvat to acknowledge the beginning, essentially the seeding of the spring months. Following Tu B'Shvat, we have Purim. Purim is the festival of Esther, where Haman, the evil man who tried to literally kill all the Jews in Persia, and if he had his way, all the Jews everywhere, was defeated not by any great war or army, but by the hand of God. And the interesting thing about the story of Purim, which is in Scripture, God's name is not openly mentioned anywhere. As a matter of fact, the word Esther means hidden. And so that's one of the hints to the holiday, that not only was Esther herself hidden as a Jew, she did not reveal her identity until the end of the story, but the word Esther also indicates that God's name was hidden throughout this miracle of Purim. Following Purim, we then have Passover, Pesach. It is again one of the first holidays given to the Jewish people. It's one of the pilgrimage festivals, and by the Torah calendar, it is the beginning of the new year. It is the spring month. Passover is referred to in Scripture as the 15th day of the first month. So that creates some tension in terms of the calendar. But we know that spring is sort of the beginning renewal, and so by the Jewish calendar, Passover, which celebrates the exodus of the Jewish people from Egyptian slavery. We have many customs associated with Passover, and we'll be doing a session, an intensive session on Passover, which will fill you in on all the customs and traditions of Passover. Following that, we begin to count 49 days. This is called the Omer. Omer is a measure, and the barley harvest, which is the first harvest in Israel traditionally. So an Omer of barley was brought to the temple, and we would count each day. We call it the counting of the Omer. We begin the second night of Passover with the counting of the Omer, continuing through to the festival of Shavuot. However, right in between, there is a festival called Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of the Omer. Lamed in the Hebrew alphabet represents 30. Gimel represents 3. Lag, Lamed Gimel, 33. So the festival is called by the day that it occurs. And it represents several things. It represents the fire of the Kabbalah, of the Zohar, was brought down by a Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and the tradition is to celebrate it by lighting a bonfire and having a cookout and other activities, outdoor activities, to celebrate this event. Another tradition teaches that there was a plague that went through the students of Rabbi Akiva, and the plague stopped on this day. And so, again, another reason to celebrate. And then on the 7th week, at the end of the 49-day counting, we celebrate the festival of Shavuot. Shavuot literally means weeks, but it is the time, the day, that we commemorate the receiving of the Torah, of the Ten Commandments, on Sinai. But just not the Ten Commandments, but the Torah itself. So those are the holy days and festivals of the Jewish calendar. I'd like to also, and by the way, if you were counting, that's 12. There's a significance to this. There are 6 fast days. The fast of Gedaliah. Gedaliah was a prime minister of Jerusalem. and he was appointed by the Babylonian emperor Nebuchadnezzar, and it was because of his assassination, sort of similar to the assassination of the Archduke Ferdinand, that we can sort of point to that event as starting World War I, that the destruction of the temple occurred. Then, a few months later, in Tevet, we have another fast. Again, I'm not including Yom Kippur because we already spoke about that as sort of a holy festival day. But the 10th of Tevet commemorates the siege by the Babylonians on the city of Jerusalem, leading to its destruction. Following that, the fast of Esther, where just before Purim, we sort of, with being in concert with Esther, we fast for a day to commemorate the fast that Esther experienced, so that she could visit Ahasuerus, the king, and get the decree against the Jews rescinded. The fast of the firstborn takes place the day before Passover. And then the 17th of Tammuz, which is during the summer months, which is 3 weeks before the fast of Av, the 9th of Av, the 17th of Tammuz commemorates when the Romans laid siege on the city of Jerusalem prior to the destruction of the Second Temple. And then finally, as I mentioned, the 9th of Av, which commemorates the destruction of both temples in Jerusalem on that date. So there are the festivals, the holy days, and the fast days of the Jewish calendar. We have 12 holy festival days. We have 6 fast days. If you add the two together, it comes to 18. And for many of you who already know what I'm about to say, 18, it has the numerical value of Yud, 10, Chet, 8, Chai, life, is equal to 18, 10 and 8. And so as we observe all these festivals and holy days, it is our life. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day.